But this is the idea of like, you're never allowed to not be aligned with the
Right.
Taliban. I met a counterintelligence team. This is what I was, counterintelligence agent. And I was there in part to support their mission. This is in Afghanistan, a very dangerous part of Afghanistan. And these guys were going around camp to camp, putting people through like a lie detector type test and assessing them, right? In one interview, by the way, it's harder to get a job at IBM than it is to get, on an American camp. One interview.
Yeah.
And these guys were, this is in a counterinsurgency environment where you're trying to win hearts and minds. You're trying to reduce the level of violence. And these guys were recommending everybody that they talked to from Afghanistan for termination because they were aligned with the Taliban. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And by the way, I got fired for this. I got kicked out of country. And I talked to these guys at length and I'm like, this is a counterinsurgency environment. Why are you terminating anybody while they're aligned with the Taliban? So what? You guys are counterintelligence people.
Right. This is not HR. This is not HR telling them to take their things and leave. This is that's termination in the field.
Well, yeah. And think about this. These are counterintelligence agents. Their job is to build double agents among many jobs, right? This is their job. Is to dream. I made a double agent. Okay, great. So someone is truly aligned with the Taliban, truly one of their sources. You are a counterintelligence agent. You should be going, oh my God, we've got the ability to go out and bird dog all of these guys that are aligned with the Taliban and start turning them into sources. OMG. I mean, that's what your job is. And I was saying this to these guys. And instead of them being inspired and saying, yeah, you know what, you're right. I'd rather have these guys on this camp. I'd rather be able to maybe turn some of these guys into sources. They said things like, they're going to report where their fuel farm is. Motherfucker, the fuel farm, everybody knows we're on halfway up a mountain. Just walk up the mountain 10 more feet above our camp. You know how big a fuel blivet is? A fuel blivet is a giant bag of fuel. It is, there's a lot of different sizes. It is no smaller than 10 yards by 10 yards, and it's often significantly bigger than that. It's a giant pillow of fuel in a sack. Is it a target? Yes. Here's how you find it. If you're below the camp, wherever the helicopters land all the time, and
probably
stay
right
for
there.
10 minutes, they're right there getting fuel. So I said that, I'm like, what, are you kidding me? We've been here for how long? This is in 2011. We've been here how long? And you think they don't know where that stuff is? Can you look up and see the mountain? They can look for that stuff whenever they want. If they want to hit that and they have the capability, it's already too late. You want these guys on this camp so that you can work them. By the way, if they're not going to interpret, who is? How can you keep firing everybody, right? So here we are. We got these knuckleheads running around the countryside, firing people. So now they have no money, no job. We lose the ability to speak the language as well as we could before. And they haven't turned any of them into sources. And this is what these guys are built to do. So when I get fired up about this stuff, it does drive me crazy because it is so wrong. They're so ill prepared to do this mission. Again, God bless them. They're hard working. They're volunteers, to come into the force and all these things. They're professional, but they're wrong. They're bad at their job because they look at it from a point of view of threat, never of opportunity to get this right. We've got an incredibly hard mission here. We're going to stabilize a country that's been most countries are unstable anyhow. We're going to try to stabilize a place where our presence adds to the instability, and we're not going to be able to speak the language well. We're not going to be able to communicate religion well. We're not going to be able to on. And you're going to make it harder by firing people and giving them less of a reason to live and partner with us. Yeah. You are dumb. Don't do that. And so when Bob,
you really did mean fire people, not like terminate them, like boom.
Well, they will get terminated. I mean, look, if they stay around long enough and Taliban,
I got you. Okay.
The Taliban will look. We terminated them from possibly having a job or having a job, right?
Right.
When they go back, that still may get them killed by the Taliban. It's like the mob. You show up, you live on the camp for 5 days, you come back. It's like, nah, we don't trust you anymore, and they kill that guy. Maybe I don't know because you don't get to follow up on that. But I promise you, by firing people, those guys for sure got someone killed just for the inability to stay on the camp where it's safe and take care of their family. So now you've got a family that either has no male figure, which is super important and horrible for those people in Afghanistan in terms of survival, or you've got someone off the camp that survives and has to find a way to make money. And it doesn't. So it's these kind of things that Robert Gates has no idea about, right? He doesn't know how incapable we were. I got to see unit after unit. They would rotate. I would stay, and the units would rotate over the top of me. They would come in, and they're like, "We're going to win the war," and then they would do the same actions over and over again. When I was in Iraq, everybody said, "Oh, Afghanistan's totally different." Yeah, maybe, but our game plan wasn't. It was the same stupid playbook, right? And so I knew so much about Afghanistan before I ever got there because I knew us. I knew what inability was and the mistakes that we made. So I could start running. If it's a race, right? The Army's like trying to get out of bed. I'm already doing laps around the track, already knowing people, already meeting people that I'll never meet, because I knew us better than we did. We thought we always had the answer. We never had the answer. We had to go earn the answer. And so I would show units how to earn the answers.